we'll get more people. Welcome everyone to the Damien Maurice AtHope after party. If you guys want to join, like I said earlier in the original interview, let me know and I'll send you a link and you can join in. Atheist Mo, I see you in the chat and always asking me how you can join. Well, if you're on Twitter, you can DM me, or if you're on Facebook, you can send me a message there as well. Or I could do one through email if you want. You'd have to give me your email address. But I'm assuming you're probably on one of those social media sources, so you can try me there on either one of those. Oh, there's my friend Zach who's joining us, the Bible atheist. How you doing, Zach?
Hey, what's up?
Oh yeah, you don't care if I use your name anymore anyway, so
No.
we're live, so. All right, so Purple, you should join too. You haven't been in one for a while. Anyways, let's pick up this conversation where we were about the whole the axiology stuff, because I think that stuff is just fascinating. So,
right, yeah. So when I first was doing axiology, I wasn't. I didn't know there was anything called axiological atheism. I just started realizing that we had to have something before, in a sense, or to standardize the meta-ethics or the analysis of ethics that we use to then choose which or start to discern which would be a better ethics that we actually apply, in our social lives or whatever. So it was just this desire to then learn, well, how do we do that, and how what is a good standard, So I was looking at college books on axiology, and there's like tons of different stuff, but a lot of it seemed like it was theists. In fact, when they would talk about axiological things, they would generally say like the worst type of atheism is, in a sense, axiological atheism, because not only does it say God's dead, it says God deserved to die. So or in a sense, that old myth deserved to die. Right. So it in a sense it looks at different, but so I already knew when I started looking at this different stuff that a lot of these were theists, and that the theists were actually trying to defend axiological theism. So I started hearing about axiological atheism actually from the theists. It reminds me of the first time when I heard apologetics as an atheist, the term. I thought, oh, Christians are finally going to apologize. Okay, great. No, that's how they defend themselves. I'm like, oh, that's not great. So axiological thinking in general doesn't have to be atheism. It's just like philosophy. It's like epistemology. People do a street epistemology. It's like epistemology. It's one of the branches of philosophy. And so, like I said before, I use ontology, epistemology, and axiology. Ontology to define and characterize what things are. Epistemology, how we claim to know them, and then axiology, assessing the value of the claims or value of the richness of the evidence and how much the claim deserves, belief or not, or whatever, how supported it is. So, because that matters the difference on how do we feel things are true or feel things are equaling knowledge or whatever. So it's real important. And so I started doing that, in a sense, before it ever got to atheism. I was an atheist, but I was wanting, in a sense, since I don't have the God concept or divine morality, which the God concept people like to push, all I have, in a sense, is my own standards. And so how do I make them more objective and not just my own biases? Because I don't think that's the greatest way to get to what's, in a sense, good or whatever, just by only your biases. And so I started looking into it, like I said, and then I thought, well, all this, axiological theism, is there anybody out there that's doing axiological atheism? Because the axiology, in a sense, I was explained even by a theist, if you take axiology, it's going to evaluate the God concept. An axiological theist looks at the God concept, and the conclusion, in a sense, is this is beneficial for society. The concept itself is beneficial. If it's fake, it helps people be better, have morality standards, even if it's not true. If it is true, in a sense, if it can be proven true or somehow becomes true, then a real God would be beneficial.
Well,
an
truth is
axiological
always
sense.
demonstrable, right? So
What's that?
truth is always demonstrable.
Well, I'm talking about them. I'm talking about what the thinking. I'm
right.
saying there's three types of, in a sense, ways axiologically to assess the God thing. One is to be an axiological theist. They would look at the God concept and say the concept is beneficial and the real God is beneficial. The world is better in a sense because of God. An axiological and agnostic, for the thing of saying you don't know, it doesn't have the information. You cannot make a judgment in a sense on the good qualities of God. So it assumes a non-point. It doesn't give them qualities. It's not innocent until proven guilty. It's that the claim is unproven. And so it's an axiological failure. The claim doesn't have any substance to then build a value off. If I say there's a thing in this place and it's this big and that big, but I'm giving numbers, just say those words. Do you really know what I'm even talking about? I could be talking about a penny because I haven't said if it's a being or not. And if it's a being, I haven't said it's a person or whatever. So you need all this innocent substance, and most of the time we don't do that. We talk in generalities. People love to generalize, you know. We just constantly, because just like people like Cliff Notes, we're thinkers that don't really like to think. We actually spend most of our time trying to avoid thinking, like playing video games or, you know, talking about philosophy, you know, just different, or listening to music or sitting on a mountain or whatever. But we spend a lot of times generally trying to sort of avoid really thinking and really being critical thinking about things that sometimes are gravely important. You know, I don't think personally the God concept is important. If it, you know, it isn't evident in reality, I don't see where it's very important. And I certainly can't assess its importance as greatness, which, you know, people want to give it. So an axiological atheist, that's where the point is, that I can't evaluate this concept. So what's being offered is not worth believing. You've offered something that you've failed to prove, failed to have the burden of proof to demonstrate its accuracy, its substance, its anything. And so that simply makes it, you know, me an axiological atheist on the simplest thing right there is that because what's offered is not, you know, tangible. But then worse than that, every instance person who's an axiological atheist has to be in a sense an anti-theist, because you've evaluated the God concept and saw it to be negative. So axiological atheism both doesn't believe, actively believes in humanism and science and stuff like that, but it also actively believes that the concept of God or religions that promote that in a sense are doing harm. The concept is harmful because it's anti-humanism, like I was talking about earlier.
Right.
And then how that then this anti-humanism obviously is detrimental to society. If only that it breeds, you know, this kind of a partisanship where people are, you know, like disowning your own children. I mean, this is something an atheist generally is not going to do. If their child's religious, they're religious.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot more atheist children actually that go back to religion generally because there's not this dogmatic forcing them to not believe. But give a person religion, and it's amazing the effort they'll go into trying to force belief.
Right. Which, I'll never be okay with that, forcing beliefs on people.
No, I'm definitely not. What I understand in general is people say, like, you know, freedom of religion. Don't the children get that too? Or is it like some magical thing after you're 18 or whatever they see as an adult that you finally get human rights, where you get rights to your own beliefs? But see, because it's always assumed that whatever the parent is, the child has to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or people will say, well, my whole family is Christian. Like, well, but was it just because it's your family or because it was true?
Accident of birth.
You know, it's like people don't look into their beliefs at all and then wonder why they're, you know, not seen as true.
Yeah, exactly. Zach, is someone asking if this is driver training? Yeah, don't drive like Zach. That's the training.
Yeah, there's a difference between driving in a video game and driving real life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Quite a big difference.
Yeah, I've seen you play these things some of the times you run over shit. So that's never a good thing.
Yeah, you can drive like an asshole in a video game, but drive like an asshole in real life, and you're gonna end up in jail
Yep. Or worse.
or dead. Yeah.
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 All right. So I've sent out some links again to some folks that have expressed interest in joining. I speak, especially to Divine Disbelief, who asked if we had room for one more.
That's what?
Divine Disbelief was the name of their channel. It's a couple friend of mine down in Portland, and
I lived in Portland before.
they did.
Yeah, I lived in Seattle too.
Oh,
And aren't you in Vancouver? I went up to the Vancouver,
I'm in Vancouver.
Convention. Imagine No Religion twice.
Oh, cool. Very cool. I talked to you on Twitter. You did? Okay. Did you send me a message? Send me a message, Atheist Mo, on Twitter then, and I can give you a link there. It'll work there. Anyway, what's going on, Nathaniel?
Hey, Neil, how are you?
Doing all right, man.
Good, man. Good. Happy to hear that.
That beard of yours is getting more beastly every time I see it.
I know. The great thing is this right here. I just started like kind of like laying this over top of this, so now it looks so it's less gray now, and I get more like the blonde and stuff. So I'm just like I'm gonna cover up the gray with blonde, and I don't even need to have like any kind of like treatment or anything. This is just natural. No.
Right. You don't have to hide the gray, dude. I used to color the shit out of this all the time, and I'm like, I don't fucking care anymore. Just let it go.
The great thing actually about it, like turning gray, like on the side of my head and stuff, is whenever I go to, because I use like a face shaver for my head. It's awesome. I start seeing like little like gray and white hairs, and I'm like, oh, you can't even see them, so we're good.
Was it the gleaming off the head that does it?
It's really, really interesting to see when I like, because I don't even need to a mirror. I can just do my hair and everything, and it's interesting to see when I miss stuff, and it's all different colors, like right in here, moving down, and I'm just like, well, if I wouldn't have missed those 3 or 4 hairs, nobody would have known, because it's either blonde, black, or gray. So I just, I'm stuck. So, and that's what this is.
Actually, Damien, we were talking a little bit about it earlier before we went live with the original interview, but let folks know why you kind of went with the red with the beard.
Well, I've actually was at the time of my life, I was actually piercing my nipples and piercing my ears, and then because I had just got out of a bad marriage and I wanted to be different, and she had like tried to kind of force me to, be more normal and everything, and I was like, yeah, I'm really not that normal, and who gives a shit? So I wanted to do what I wanted. I wanted to have a red mohawk actually, but I started going thinning hair on my top, and so I just shaved my head. I figured, fuck it. Well, I'm not going to pay for, hair transplants. I'm just going to go for it, go bald. And I was like, I actually like the bald better. And
yeah, it works for you.
But I still wanted to do something more dramatic, and so that's why I thought about doing my beard instead. And I also originally thought about it because of Dimebag Darrell, and so from Pantera. But it wasn't like totally only because of that. Just like, oh yeah, he did that. That's a good idea. I want a mohawk and do it red, but I think I'll do that instead. So
very cool. Yeah, miss Dimebag, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was like the past few years have been like almost a person a year for me. That's been like that. Because said obviously Tom Petty a few years, like 2016, I think. And then like Chester Bennington was 2017. And then like the year before him, I think, forget the name of they played like their last show in Dallas, and the lead singer, he died. And so I just like have a person every year, and I'm like, well, it's 2020, so pick somebody now. So it seems to be, I guess that's what happens when you get older, right? The people that that
happens
growing up, and then now they're dying, and one of these days somebody's going to be like, well, Nathaniel finally died. So, no, that'll be a good time. Oh,
Well, hell, 2020 seemed to have picked everybody.
seems like
it. All right, Atheist Mo, I sent you a link via Twitter because you reached out to me there. So I sent one to you there, and you can jump in here if you like to.
it. We were on Daily Atheist earlier today.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. They're both, really awesome. Leanne is Susan has met her before too, so being on and talk about that and stuff. We got to talk about things that weren't religion. Apparently that's something people do. And
yeah.
And so we got to talk. It's like some sci-fi stuff. They, I guess we got to see. Susan got this one last night. Little Mandalorian.
Cool. Very
yeah.
cool.
Oh, it is. Oh, that's just.
Wait till you see what I ordered.
Oh, I want to know.
I'll break it out as soon as it arrives.
Yeah, Susan got all of her Star Wars Day stuff yesterday and today.
Very cool.
Yeah, they're all like, it's the 40th anniversary of Empire. So,
oh man, now I feel old because I saw that in the theater.
Yeah, it's also, well, I also know, by the way, the reason that I know that it's 40th anniversary is because it's also the 40th anniversary of St. Helens. So
fair enough.
It's like, okay, this stuff, it's 1980, got it. But yeah, she got all the 40th anniversary, Funko stuff now. I think only missing like one of them. So it's pretty cool that she has all that stuff.
This is
Maurice.
This is Maurice, the guy who was our Atheist Mo in the chat that I was telling you about, Damien. So
Yeah, no, I know.
Hello, Maurice, the guy who was our Atheist Mo in the chat.
We've got echo going on here, bud.
Yeah, go ahead and mute that YouTube video.
Hello, Maurice, the guy who was our Atheist Mo in the chat. We've got echo going on.
That's because how about hey, what if I turn down the volume on my laptop?
Mute the
I'll turn down the volume on my laptop.
yeah, you have to do it. You
That
can just
doesn't
mute the
work,
video.
That works.
Does it work? No.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Turn down the volume on the
Oh, okay. All right, I got a laptop going over there next to the phone. The only thing the phone does Twitter, and then I got the laptop over there.
Laptop going over there next to the phone. The only thing the phone does Twitter.
Yeah, you gotta kill the laptop.
What about the laptop?
You gotta kill the laptop.
Yeah. Check
What about the laptop?
Like mute the video on the laptop.
Mute the laptop?
Yes.
Mute the laptop?
Yeah.
Am I gonna work?
Yeah, you'll be fine
Might
if you have the video pulled up and it says live. All you have to do is just hit the little microphone in there and it'll mute it. Because I keep it up all the time. So if I'm going to respond to somebody in the live chat, I just write back to them and stuff. So yeah, I have it up all
I
the
never
time.
did this before. It says you're in the show.
Yeah.
You are in the show. Congratulations. Welcome.
What do I do? Just leave it alone?
Yeah.
Can you hear us right now?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm not hearing an echo, so we're
Not
good.
echo
Okay.
now.
Now we're good because I hear you clearly, Neil.
Great. Excellent. That's exactly what we're looking for.
Good.
All right.
I think it worked when I shut down the volume on my laptop.
Yes.
Because I have two different devices.
Oh,
I
so
got a
you're-
laptop in front of the phone.
I see. Okay. So you were watching on the laptop and now you're talking to us via your phone, correct?
Yeah. I actually have multiple Facebooks and multiple YouTubes and multiple MeWes and a Twitter and stuff because as well as having a laptop, I have a phone where I have the additional accounts as well.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. You should generally you could have joined us via your laptop too. But and then
I didn't know how to work that because I didn't know how to work it, so the phone did it.
oh, well, you just like you did with your phone, where you click on the link on your phone. You just do the same thing on your laptop. Just click the link, and it would have brought you to here.
Well,
I don't even have Twitter on my laptop, so.
Oh well, okay, that's no good.
Let's try it this way. Is the phone gonna suck?
No, you're good. We can
Phone-
hear you.
phone's
It's clear,
fine.
so that's good.
Yep.
So did you have
Everyone
anything?
else just talk right now. Now elaborate.
What's that? Everyone else talk.
Everyone else talk.
Well, I was going to ask you, Maurice, if you had any questions that you wanted to ask Damien.
I just mentioned many comments before that. Back when I joined Facebook in 2010, I come from a very large family of religious people. I stayed tame and I didn't post anything atheist, even though I wasn't atheist, for like 3 or 4 years. Then all of a sudden I see axiological atheists in 2014. And then from then on, I said, I actually just terminated my family from my friends list and all my Christian friends and got atheist friends. I mean, I'm still friends and loved ones to my family, but they'll get on your post and like comment 25 times why they don't like you.
Oh, really? That's those loving Christians, I guess, right?
Yeah.
For shit.
I've encountered so many problems with Facebook that that's why I created a new YouTube, because I'm not new to video. I made Facebook video for 4 years, and all of a sudden they just kept banning me so many times over that I finally said fuck Facebook. And I created a new YouTube a few weeks ago, and I got a photographic memory and a photographic mind where I could memorize dozens of verses and just go blam and out to you.
Okay, cool. Is that what you're going to do on your YouTube? Is do the verses and stuff and then discuss them, kind of thing, or?
I was planning on something after all this is over with. I got 35 verses video, which that takes a lot of energy. It's going to take an hour-long video probably.
And you're going to be doing that after this?
I got contradictions memorized and inconsistencies and stuff. I'm like the Rain Man of a Bible, so that's what I do.
well, it's
Cool.
Oh, yet I'm an atheist. I could quote thousands of things, but I'm an atheist whenever I quote them.
yeah. I'm not a huge fan of counter apologetics with contradictions, even the necessarily not just personal, me. Even with the irreconcilable contradictions that exist in the four Gospels, I'm not. Believe it or not, I don't get hung up on those very much. I'm able to look at things. Really, I've begun to do my have my conversations a little bit differently, and this is a fairly recent thing. Mine is more of a historical type of conversation, because if we're going to take things, because we can take history out of the Bible, there is history in the Bible, and if we can remove that, which we can, then we can look at this and say, okay, we have these actual historical things. Now let's talk about the rest of this stuff and where does this fit in? And if we're able to accept this right here as history, like the Lucan census in 6 CE, right? If we're able to take that as history, which it is, okay, this is in Josephus. He even mentions Judas up in Galilee, right? Where Jesus would have been born. Okay, how come he doesn't mention Jesus? Now it's argument from silence in a way, but it's also, if there is this happening, let's talk about the actual claims of it. Because yeah, we can easily
argument from silence. One second though. But that's like when people say that the lack of evidence is not evidence. Well, if something is supposed to be there, like if I said, in my pocket, there's a wallet. Well, once we look and there's nothing inside my pocket, it's empty, or I pull my pocket out, we don't have to, in a sense, look in the lint and then make sure, because things have substance and qualities that limit what they can be. I mean, like people say, well, anything can happen. Well, tomorrow I will not wake up with wings. So not anything can happen.
Correct. Yeah, and that's not what I mean when I say argument from silence either.
No, I was just making a generalized comment
Yeah.
that you said, because some people think that because all claims are not equal. I mean, some things, if I don't believe you because of argument in science, that certainly is argument from silence. That's still better than a positive belief built on the argument of silence, because I'm saying I don't believe because I don't see. You're saying I believe even though I don't see. I'm not saying you personally. I'm just talking about people that use.
Yeah,
like,
no, we
you
get
know,
it.
say that God
Yeah.
is there because there's nothing that says he's not. That's not a
Yeah,
not a
it's
reasonable position.
I actually think that Jesus is the most well-attested person in first century Palestine. Doesn't mean he's God. And
Yeah, I don't find that super convincing that he's the. I mean, he's convincing is what from the Bible's evidence. I mean, the Bible's not evidence. You're talking about the most the first century Palestine. Well, there's a lot of Romans in first century Palestine. I mean, so he can't be, to me, the best attested person in first century Palestine. That's a universal claim I don't think you could support.
Okay, find me one writing about anybody in first century Palestine. Besides, find me one writing about anybody.
The Greeks and the Romans, because the first century is a certain time frame. I'm just making a comment.
Well, first century Palestine, find me one writing about anybody not named Jesus of Nazareth.
Okay.
He's the most well-attested person from first century Palestine.
He's not. Well-attested means that the tons of sources, correct? You're saying that
he has multiple sources within 100 years of his life.
At 100 AD. There is more information written about leaders in areas that are external sources than the Bible. So, I mean, I don't even know what you mean by well-attested. Do you mean by the Bible source?
There are multiple sources, both biblically and extra-biblically, within 100 years of the death of Jesus. Yes, about him. That's more than anybody else in all of Palestine.
No, there's not. I'm driving at 270 miles an hour, and I can tell you that Jesus was not mentioned until at least 100 CE.
What?
Really?
No.
Within, I said 100 years of his life, and that's fine. But we know that Josephus wrote about him.
No, that's not accurate. He did. He said people believe. No, there's forgeries in Josephus. Part of Josephus is a forgery. Parts that talk about Jesus particularly. The parts that say that people believed in a Jesus, now that could be accurate. But the part that because people can believe anything. People can believe Elvis. That doesn't mean any amount of accuracy of any kind. And saying that someone brings up someone's name. So someone brings up the name of Elvis. Should we believe that they are still seeing an actual Elvis, or that they're somehow, mistaken? I mean, so let's assume that you're correct. That's all I'm saying. Let's assume.
I mean, I'd like to present the argument that I am without.
No, I'm saying even if he's the most attested, okay, so
no, that's it. That was my claim. He is,
but it's not. So he's not the most attested as far as the most accurately, talked about. No.
Yes, he is. There's nobody else. There is not a single other person in first century. There's not even anything written about Pontius Pilate. Period. There's also nothing written about Josephus. Period. All we have
written about Josephus.
No, we don't have anything written about Josephus at all. And by the way, I'm guessing that you aren't a fan of Antiquities, book 20, part 9. That's like.
Well, I would say that I like archaeology and history, and I have a blog called Archaeology Debunks the Bible, where I explain that all the founding stories in the Bible are actually built off of inaccuracy and unhistorical myths. There was no Adam and Eve. There was no united Israel that had great power and whatever. United Kingdom. The time of there's no Exodus from Egypt. I mean, this stuff is endless. That what it's not matching up. I mean, like I said about things being historical, there are some historical things in the Bible. But you could say historical things in Spider-Man. He talks about skyscrapers. Are there not actual skyscrapers? Sure. I mean, the fact that something mentions inaccuracy doesn't make the book universally accurate at all. Every single claim the book makes are separate burden of proofs attached. Period.
I want to know what, Nathaniel, when you're referring to extra biblical writings of Jesus, which ones specifically are you referring to?
Well, not of Jesus, but about Jesus. Yeah, we have Antiquities. We have writings by Tacitus within 100 years of the death of Jesus.
No,
not. Oh, when was Antiquities written?
Well, I don't know Antiquities, but I do know that Jesus was not mentioned by name in any writing until at least 100 CE or 100 years after his death.
No, Antiquities is written before 130, and in book 20, part 9, very specifically, it mentions Jesus. And also, it also mentions we can look at the Evangelium, the Flavianum, and we can take you can take the parts that Josephus didn't write out of it, and we can still have something written about Jesus, and that's easy to do actually. And I can defend my position really well. I mean, if you want to know the biggest reason that he's the most well attested, those two reasons are right there, and those are both within 100
but
years.
Like I said, I feel like it's almost a non sequitur. And let's assume everybody in Palestine knew Jesus and knew that name. That still does not prove his existence. It just doesn't. So the fact, because you're not talking about
Neil, I can't, man.
Were his actual met him. You're talking because all the stories of Jesus are probably none of those met. Not Paul, not any of the other books are written from direct accounts.
Well, no, we knew that Paul's was visions, and that's
yeah.
No, but my point
now,
is that Paul was written before any of the Gospels, any of them.
Yep,
Mark,
yep.
Matthew,
And
Luke,
Paul,
John, Paul wrote all of it first.
Yep, and within 2 years, Paul was a Christian. 2 years. Within 2 years of the death of Jesus, Paul was a Christian. Do you deny that?
Well, I don't know that there's a Paul to prove there's a Paul. Once again, I don't.
There's a church.
I'm not a mythicist. I'm not saying I know it's a
There's
myth.
a church.
I'm saying the source is not credible. The claims are not credible. The preposterous idea that all these things are true. Some people say they believe that Abraham or Moses is real. I don't think that probably most of the characters have anything to do with real people. But let's just say that they did.
Paul was.
It still would mean nothing. What's that? You know, Paul
was a real person. Yes, there is a Christian church. Paul was a real person. Yes.
And all the writings supposedly attested to Paul are Paul or not?
No, they're not. And we know that 2 Thessalonians certainly isn't, and we certainly know that Ephesians and Colossians are not.
There's already contradictions in what is Paul. So who's Paul?
It's not
things that are not true. We only believe the ones that are the 7 books or something out of the 14 or something. There's a certain portion that we can say are possibly true. And what do those books say? And then why should we take them as credible? And then why should we? I'm not convinced. I just absolutely.
Well, yeah, I haven't been able to say a goddamn thing. So no, you're not.
You did say something. Then I challenged your saying it. That's all.
No, I have not been able to finish a thought.
Oh, please.
We have. Paul was within 2 years of the death of Jesus. Paul was a Christian, walking around, talking in Jerusalem about Jesus. That right there is enough, by the way. And what we have is also
to prove it Jesus.
Because let him talk. Let him talk.
And then you have Paul, who met James, the brother of Jesus, who is extra biblically attested by both Tacitus and Josephus. So that's done by itself. But Paul met James, the brother of Jesus. Paul met Cephas, and Paul met John. Those are 2 disciples, number 1 being the rock. And then also he met James, the brother of Jesus. And twice says that.
And he was also not believed by the supposed Judeo-Christians in the book The Bible in Acts talks about he also was ran out of the city, almost stoned to death. I mean, he certainly welcome as having the calling.
But he was, well, I mean, there are, if you look into Galatians, quite obviously in Galatians chapter 2, he and Cephas had words. Yes, very specifically, circumcised or uncircumcised. Absolutely, that's the case. But all that does is lend further credence to the fact that, yes, he met them. So he met historical people, right? Historical people who knew Jesus, one of them being Jesus' own brother. That's who is extra biblical. We have extra biblical evidence that somebody knew who that person even was. So we have, all of that.
So when you say extra biblical, you used a biblical character.
No,
another biblical character, and you said that was extra biblical.
I didn't. No, I did not. I said James, the brother of Jesus, who has mentioned extra biblically by both Tacitus and Josephus. Both like that, and that right there is enough by itself.
Oh, but did they use the name? They also used the name King David. Does that mean there was an actual king that was a David? Archaeology has found little stamps that say the House of David. Does that prove there was a David dynasty, or just a clan? I mean, just like so. My point is, I'm saying we can look at what we think is evidence. It really depends, though, what it actually is. Sometimes science has this, right, where they get something and people make different theories about the same purported evidence. This happens in archaeology too. They look at a site or history and then make a judgment from one perspective. I'm not saying that it's impossible that there was a human being that later was called Jesus.
Well, no,
he certainly was a human. I'm saying that this confidence level is inaccurate to me. There's not to say that there could have been possibly a human being who was named Jesus that didn't have any magical powers or believed he was God or people thought he was or something. It's not that it's not impossible, but there's a difference to say, take the next step and say, I know, I have proof. You can say that all these people said his name, people could do that, and it still not be there was a person. It could have been just this myth that was passed around. Belief does not mean accuracy, no matter how far and wide it is. That's not how belief is established or accurate.
Okay.
And also, I'm assuming you're talking about John the Baptist. John the Baptist was not Jesus' brother.
That's a wrong assumption.
That's the difference.
I'm speaking very specifically about James the Just and John, son of Zebedee.
Okay, because Jesus didn't have any siblings.
Yeah, he did. That James is his brother, one of them. In fact, actually, if you look into the Gospel of John, it's very specific that he talks to his brothers as well as in the Gospel of Matthew.
Reportedly claims to talk to his brothers.
And then we have extra biblical evidence that one of them at least existed. So if one of them did, sure, maybe he didn't have a ton of.
That's an interesting claim, and I'm not against understanding what is true and accurate. So if you have that, I'm willing to see your source for your claim. You said it has
I just told you about both of them.
Biblical source for what you're claiming. I would be welcome to see these sources and then the level of credibility. And like I said, people talk about, some of these people as historical sources, and sometimes they've been forged, including, the Mark. The ending of Mark, I think it's the last paragraph or two or something like that, are forgeries. So
16, 10, 21.
I got to also, understand reliabilism. Like, how reliable is a thing? Like, if I told you that Fox News, came up with a claim, how much confidence would I give towards that claim? Well, just the fact that I know that Fox News is like a lot of conspiracy theories that are unfounded or flat out bullshit, I would immediately not have a high level of trust. They would have to really, said by Carl, Sagan, that beliefs that are, extreme, they have to have extreme evidence. If you're going to make these claims that are outlandish, you better have the reason that to back up.
Extraordinary claims demand extraordinary evidence.
Yeah, it's not extraordinary saying somebody lived.
What's that now?
Saying somebody was alive at one point is not really extraordinary, though.
Depends.
Yeah,
on
no, yeah,
well, if I say I know that a person was
I've
a
never
real
said that I
person,
know.
that's a different claim than saying a person could exist. A human being could. Like I said, that's like if someone says to me, well, there could have been aliens that landed, and those aliens could have helped people build the pyramids. Well, those are wild speculations. Those are actually not ones that are rooted in what we can prove. Thing is that even when we have speculations, we want to ground them like stepping on a piece of evidence to go to the logical jump, not leaps of faith, where we just launch out into no man's land, towards our whatever bias of the wind pushes us.
Yeah, well, as I mentioned, and I'm sorry, Neil, your fans are not enjoying this very much, so I'm gonna stop. But I did mention again, Tacitus Annals 15.44 and Josephus Book 20, Part 9. That right there by itself, and then Pliny in 110 speaks very specifically about the early Christians as well. He doesn't mention Jesus specifically, but they came from somewhere. So
right, but you get what I'm saying, right? I mean, you get graphs that
I gave you the sources that you continue to ask for over and over again. So I don't know what you want from me. Well, yeah, I don't care if people die for. It's whether or not a person existed.
If I'm showing you the level of commitment to the belief, the level of thinking it's accurate. So I'm just saying the fact that someone says that even let's say everyone could say there's a Jesus, that still doesn't mean there actually was a Jesus. This is certainly a time when people's grasp on science and what is an accurate belief or opinion, the fact that they push faith so much in general, shows they don't have that critical thinking. They look at stuff and say, well, if it couldn't be explained by my mind, then it must be God. This type of thinking is not that one that builds these high accuracies. So when these people that are saying stuff that are already making all kinds of myths and proclamations about this person Jesus, what they hope that he would be or not be. Sure. I mean, it's not a clean document that's reliable in its quality. It's just even if you took all the magical claims out, it's still, like you said, the contradictions. And it's not that the contradictions 100% always prove everything, but they prove it's just not a credible source.
Well, something could be credible historically while having things that are not true in it. I mean, American history books have, right?
Well, but they wouldn't all be true. American history books have some of the truth from a slanted viewpoint of the colonizers, rather than the viewpoint of the person being colonized. So certainly, it also is more male-based. It says what males did this here, and then males did this here. It's not really talking about so much about the children and the women and the experience of other people.
You're literally, we agree, and I think you're not looking at it that way. But literally, that's a point that we agree upon, is that you can look at American history books and understand that that shit's written by the victors, and where there's a lot of mythology in there. Ask indigenous peoples anywhere in this continent. And but there's actual still history in there as well. And so I think that we understand how to, and we have to be able to, how to look at something and be able to say, hey, maybe Jesus wasn't born of a virgin, but this census happened at this point, and so we can take that stuff out of it. We can understand that there are historical aspects we're able to take out of these books.
Sure,
but there's certainly no census that tells people they had to go back to their own land.
No, that is correct. that is accurate. Yeah.
And we know virgins don't give birth.
I think it was like 4 or 6 years or something before Jesus' supposed birth, and then there's like one, I think, a couple years or something after or something, but nothing around the time.
Correct.
It wouldn't make sense to me anyways to tell people to go back where they belong. You want to tax people with their current wealth and not what they were when they were a child.
Yeah. Especially moving from Galilee down to IUDs, that wouldn't have happened. So
I would suggest maybe you would maybe forward some of the stuff that you're referring to, Nathaniel, to Damien, and he can actually check it out himself and see what he thinks of that sort of.
Yeah, sure. We can do that.
Yeah. Because I don't want the conversation to get hostile, and it almost felt like it was going that way, and I'm not really for that kind of thing. So I prefer people to be able to
definitely
talk about this, reasonably. Anyways.
Sure.
So I think that might be actually a good idea, because Damien's probably like me would be 100% willing to look at all the stuff there for sure.
Well, I want the truth, and I like accuracy. So, like I said, to me as an axiologist, I want to evaluate things and get the right value judgment. And so you can't get a right conclusion unless you have the right evidence. So, yep, I'm always willing to be shown evidence.
Yeah, for sure.
I've got a lot of that.
He does.
I don't ever come to a conclusion without research. So, ever about anything. So.
Sure, but we also have to be careful that the research that we're doing is
That's correct.
Is that's the word I think I'm looking for. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we have to have a skeptical mindset at all times, right?
Well, skeptical yet pragmatic at the same time.
Yeah,
right?
correct. And there you go. That's what I have. And so I think that I'm pretty well in line with the universal consensus of scholars. So I think that's the case. So.
Okay. Well, yeah, okay, but I could raise a point that may make you want to punch me in the face, but the views of scholars at one time was that the world was flat. So
that is correct. Yep. Thankfully, and you know what? And when they were wrong, it's important there to say, well, we were wrong. And I think that's the case. Exactly. That would be the case here as well, if we're able to find something, obviously, that looking for trying to find an actual Q source at this point, is
sure.
Right now all it is that it looks as though it's there. But I think we're probably better today than we were 500-600 years ago at the methodology as well.
Oh,
so
yeah, I would agree.
Being more confident about our conclusions, I think today is probably a little bit easier. So.
Well, I think it's also we're not killing people who we disagree with so much anymore, at least in our more civilized societies. Yeah, I know. There's still a bunch of places where that happens, and that's something that needs to be fixed. It's
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Good
We
to
have
see
somebody new in the chat.
Good to see you.
The Sassy Heathen. Welcome, Sassy Heathen.
Welcome.
Hello, Randolph.
Hello, Maurice. How are you?
Pretty good. It got so extremely hot in here, I opened a window a little while ago.
We're in Canada. It's yet to get really hot.
I'm in Michigan. It got 75 degrees, but I keep my windows closed and shit. And then all of a sudden I jump up and it's getting too hot in here. But I'm good though. I like to kind of participate a little bit. Some of the conversations were like dominant between a couple people, but
All right.
Sure. Yeah, it happens.
I just wanted to pop in and say hi to everybody. I've got some stuff I have to do here, so I'm probably just going to listen. So, sorry, it's a quick visit.
I'm kind of like dumbfounded. This is like the first time I ever did this, and I don't know what to say. So you go on.
Well, welcome. Hey, that's great. It's good to have you here.
You'll get the hang of this eventually, Maurice.
I just want to make a public appearance. Let people know me.
Yeah, well, chill out your channel. You got a channel, don't you?
Atheist Mo, it's called. You'll see me in the comments over there. You find me.
Oh, I know who you are. Okay.
Or not. Yeah, I have a YouTube.
Maurice Daniels on Facebook, by the way.
And so.
Say that again, Damien. I missed that.
I said my YouTube is my
Damien.
name, Damien Marie AtHope. But I also just started with the Daily Atheist, Chris Mallard. I've been wanting to do a show, The History Voyagers, where I talk about, history and archaeology, especially when it relates to religion and what we know and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I just practically started that, did the fourth video, working on the third video I put up recently, and now I'm working on the fourth video for that, for Göbekli Tepe. So we're going to do 10 videos on Göbekli Tepe.
Very cool. Very cool. That's always been.
Maybe I should just shout out. Maybe I should just shout out that what I do is everyone has their own specialties, like Damien's history and archaeology, and someone else has something else, and someone else has something else. But what I do is I just got a great memory, and I use it for the Bible to smash apart the Bible. Contradictions videos. That's what I do.
So you're like the Hulk on the Bible. Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah.
Hulk smash Bible.
Well, I'm like very much an anti-theist because I used to be a very staunch Christian when I was like 26 years old, and I got into religion myself. And by the time I was 30, I divorced my only marriage, who happened to be a Christian woman, and it was a big disaster. And I'd say by 30, I devoted myself to read that whole book, and I read it again, and I read it again, and
I'm sorry.
I still was a believer, and I'd sing psalms and stuff, and all of a sudden I come to this psalm that says, "Let burning coals fall upon them and let them not rise up again," in Psalm 140:10. That was my deconversion story right there. 140:10 of Psalms.
That one psalm
says, "To burn
caused
to death
you to
anyone
deconvert.
does not believe."
Wow.
Psalm 140:10 deconverted me because you prayed for the burning to death of someone.
This sounds like the makings of a great deconversion story.
Quick
Well,
one,
I
anyway.
plan on doing it. I tried it on my own channel, but failed many times because I let outside distractions distract me from doing it. I think if I'm going to do it, I got to do it an hour straight at least.
Well, I'll talk to you, Maurice, through Twitter now that I have you on the DMs, and we'll possibly set
I got to
something
get on
up.
a laptop.
Yeah, well,
this
it'll be
is
done on a
phone,
laptop,
the phone
and I'll show you
sucks
how.
for this.
I'll show you how to do it, man. No problem.
Maybe Google Hangout. Google Hangout might work for me.
Nope. Google Hangout. I don't use that.
Hangouts isn't supported on YouTube anymore.
I use StreamYard.
Well,
I pay for it, so I'm going to use
I'll-
this. Oh,
I'll figure out how to do Twitter like I did here.
it's not that big a deal. You'll learn it
I don't
eventually.
know. I'm very new to everything. Very new to everything. So I don't know shit.
No problem,
So you tell
man.
me.
No problem. We can help you.
I just learned how to do video editing myself.
Yeah, it's I just use Windows Movie Maker for when I actually put together videos for my other channel, the gaming one that I do. So
Yeah, I just got Filmora 9.
Purple, I do 3 interviews a week, usually Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Every 2 months, there's the one Wednesday where I don't do a video, or if somebody cancels, it's because of my blood donation. I go in and donate blood with Randolph here. Him and I go in together and we donate blood. And our numbers get put to the 2 groups, right? The Atheist, Canadian Atheists, and my dad's group that I started, right? Yeah. So, yeah, which is really cool.
Cool.
You have Susan on Monday.
I do have the
Other half.
I guess Randall's like, screw you guys, I'm out of here.
Yeah, bye, Randall.
That's okay. He lives like 20 minutes away. I can go kick him in the nuts if we need to.
Yeah.
And
You'll have
literally,
to-
Nathaniel, I'm literally just under 5 hours from you.
Yep.
Hey, there's 6 figures. Someone left.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Randolph took off. He said he
yeah,
had to go anyways.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you have to make sure that you wear Star Wars stuff for Susan and whatnot. So that's important.
Star Wars stuff? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Can I
Yeah,
wear
I
one
know.
I wear one that'll piss her off?
I mean, it's Star Wars Day, Neil. Of all the days. That one, I don't think that one will piss her off, but it's more of a Disney taking over everything.
Yeah, that's
type
kind of why I bought it.
Yeah,
Right?
I like that.
I thought it was funny.
No, yeah, it's very good. Now, yep, with it being Star Wars Day and everything, so
I know.
you can't do anything this year either. There's not a single con. There's nothing going on, so having to kind of like staying with that. I just still got I got a ton of stuff for it though. So
Very cool.
yeah, I think we have. I think her like Star Wars Funko collection is worth over. It's almost $2,500 that it's worth now. So
holy shit!
Yeah.
I wish I still had all my original Star Wars figures. I even had the mail-in Boba Fett you could mail in for you. All the box tops you cut out and then send them, and then you get the mail-in one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I have the Gen 2 because the original one that you had to mail in for, you could actually launch the little missile out of his backpack.
Yeah, that one.
Right, but I don't know. I got the one where they made sure because I think there were complaints. So they, by the time I mailed in for the Boba Fett, it was non-launchable.
Yeah, that one was that's like I think that's the most expensive Star Wars figure ever made.
I think that's Blue Sabretooth.
Is it? Oh, okay, it's maybe because I know that one.
Or sorry, Snaggletooth.
I was gonna say Sabretooth is a X-Man.
Right.
But Snaggletooth, yeah, and all the Snaggletooth Funkos are fucking god. But yeah, that little Boba Fett with the launching thing, yeah, yep, that one is really rare. So it's if you almost had it.
Thanks for stopping in, Sassy Atheist. Thank you for subbing. I go Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays usually. So if you hit the little bell, you'll be notified when I go live.
For sure.
Yeah, she's Canadian too. Woo!
There you go.
And Damien, I'm going to make you officially partially Canadian anyways because of the red beard.
Well, I liked the Atheists up there when I went to Vancouver. I thought that you guys were cool.
Well, actually, Randolph, he is my partner in crime with Canadian Atheists. He's actually the president of Canadian Atheists. I'm the community advocate for Canadian Atheists. And we're going to start doing certain conventions up here. We're going to have, I think, 2 a year that we're going to manage.
I don't live over there no more, though.
That's all right. But we can get you here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to come up and talk about shit, we can definitely get you here. So
yeah. Oh, I'd love to talk about shit. In fact, what's funny is when I first went to Imagine No Religion the first time, I think it was number 6, I want to say, but I don't know. But when I went there, I was amazed that 5 of my memes were being shown on the projector during the breaks.
Really?
My quotes. Yeah. I thought it was interesting too because they had like Carl Sagan and Neil deGrasse Tyson. They all had like 3 or something, but I had 5. I thought that was awesome. And I was like, no one even told me that they were going to do that. It was kind of a weird feeling. I go up to Canada, just like snuck up there and went to the convention. Didn't really make a big deal about it the first time. And I'm sitting there at the eating, and I look up and I'm like, what the hell? That's one of mine. And I was like all jazzed, and they kept doing it. I was like, man, that's cool as hell. So I already asked the guy that did the convention up there about, getting me to speak. If I'm good enough for you to put my memes up, I mean, you must like my ideas.
Good night, Angie. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Actually, I'd probably be like, oh shit, if they did that with someone. I mind you, I'm not really a meme guy. I don't make them, but I guess people could quote me and turn it into a meme if they wanted to.
Right.
Yeah, I've done it a few times.
Yes, you have, and so is fucking IQ, for crying out loud.
Yeah, there you go, Neil.
I'm more popular at memes. Huh?
Neil,
I'm a lot more
awesome.
popular at memes.
This is
I do great video, but I'm more popular at memes.
This was when who the hell was they were in the Kroger building. They're the ones that made the first Star Wars. This one's from '78.
Yeah, that's the one I had.
Yeah, because it's got the different colored stuff. Yep. This is the first edition. I forget the name. I don't know. I forget whatever it was. But yeah, this one's worth money too.
Yeah, I had one too. Fuck.
Yeah. Then I got her. She got this one today. It's Han Solo and Carbonite.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's like really good detail too. You look at it, like this thing's really great. And she got this one. It's part of the 40th anniversary thing.
I want the fridge magnet of Han Solo that you can get. It's a giant fridge magnet that takes up your fridge door.
Really?
Carbonite, yeah, and you open up the top.
In carbonite, that if only I could use because he's got like his finger on like the one side, right?
Yeah.
If I could like use his finger to open the door, I would do
You
that.
probably just pull the magnet off.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to figure a way to keep it
It's
up
a
there.
big magnet, so it's going to be sticking really well, right? Oh, we just lost Maurice.
Yep. Yeah, we did.
All right.
I always say I'm gonna leave looking up.
Okay.
Yeah, she's having this one is I was like, dang, babe. And then she has one Chewbacca like Funko that was first run back in 2011 or something, but it's not the rare one. So the one that she has is like worth like $20, and the rare one is worth like $1,500. So yeah, I was like, dang. Oh, Tony trying to get beat up in the comments.
Tony Designs?
Yeah. Yeah. No, she's got, like I said, she's got a ton of stuff. We're actually going to have some stuff in the mail, I think Monday. So it's going to be great for Star Wars Day. And they're going to go up on our wall and stuff where they're actually like display case type stuff. Because, I mean, there's so many of them now. And it's like, and I was talking to her today and I was like, okay, so we have like 8 Chewbaccas. All right. And they all look about the same. There's like a gold chrome one, and there's a green chrome, and then there's blue chrome, which is the one that's worth a pretty good amount.
Yeah, because it's the rarest of them.
Yes, it is. And I was like, okay, how are we going to put these? Because they're all number 53, right? How are we going to put these things in? Are we going to go by like movie? Are we going to go by like you got Clone Wars and stuff? We're going to put these in order, and then what if? Because each one of them holds like 12. So what if we're doing Empire and there's only 9 of them? Do we just leave the other 3 empty and then go and start Jedi on the next one? Or how are we going to do this? And so that is a conversation that I never thought that I would ever have with anybody about anything like this. Like, how are we going to figure out where to put this stuff? Because there's so much, and you don't want to mess something like that up, because then you've got a number of these larger ones that are like 2-packs and you have to move around and stuff. So it's like, shit, just make her do it. Or make her do anything.
No, probably the other way around, if you ask me.
Yeah. I am proud of our partnership and everything that we do. We work really well together. And so she has been that person for me. So
that's good. That's what I wish for anyone when they get into relationships, is they end up with a partnership that works out well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep failing.
Oh, I failed until she, decided that I was worth it. I don't know why, but but then she came up to Portland, so
yeah.
Somebody loves you at that point.
Yeah, I guess so. Native Atheist is saying shots fired. I'm assuming that's the Tony Designs comment about Star Trek being superior to Star Wars. With the fight me, bro. We don't need to fight over this, Tony. I mean, this is if you prefer one over the other, that's fine. But neither is superior to the other. They're both different aspects. They're both sci-fi. They're both great. I love both of them. I also like Babylon 5. I also like Firefly. I also like
Firefly.
Battlestar Galactica. Hell, I even watched Buck Rogers back in the day when it was on TV. Right. Nice. So, if it's sci-fi, I'm probably going to dig it. Dune was great. They even have a series now. Yeah.
I think Timothy Chalamet is going to be in the.
And Red Dwarf. Come on, Red Dwarf.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Stargate SG-1.
Stargate. Yeah.
That the only reason I know anything about Stargate is because MacGyver is in it. That's it. That's the only reason I know.
I never watched MacGyver. I'll be honest with you right now.
I did, man. That guy, you give him like a rubber band, a paperclip, and he'll do it.
And a wad of gum, and you've got instant C4 or some shit.
He's like, check this out. Look what I just did. And it's like, basically he steals kit or something. That's the 80s.
Yeah. True enough. What was your favorite sci-fi, David?
I'm not really into like video games. Not really into like things like that. I mean, I like some Star Wars or Lord of the Rings. I like some stuff like that, or Star Trek. But I don't fanboy really on anything. I don't.
Okay, fair enough.
It's cool. I mean, I agree with you. I couldn't say which is better because they're both kind of cool, different. I mean,
Yeah, they all have their
all
own
the
niches.
shows you mentioned, though. I mean, I don't know.
I even watched The $6 Million Man when that was on TV when it aired originally. Right?
I mean, I like a lot of stuff, but I don't.
Not originally.
I don't know.
I didn't watch.
I don't have any like you guys are showing. Figurines, or whatever. I don't have any of that.
Oh,
yeah, I did. Well, back in the day.
Yeah, it's Susan. She's a huge Star Wars, huge Chewbacca fan and stuff, and so and she had Funkos whenever I met her, and that was actually the first gift that I ever got her. Was a Galactic Edition Boba Fett last year. Yeah, I didn't realize how rare that was when I got it, and I just picked it up at a box lunch. I was like, oh, here we go. And that person, it's like they said it's the last one. I was like, all right, then I didn't realize it was like the last one.
But are they really worth? Because are you going to sell it?
No,
probably not.
No,
probably hand it down in will to the next generation.
Yeah, somebody else will get them.
That's what I did with all my shit. Just kind of gave it away to people I know would care for it and pass it on.
Yep. Probably I'm not ever gonna sell anything, but there's certainly like there came down to it and you had like a trust or an estate or something that would be on there. And like, well, who's getting all the and because they'll be, they'll
we froze.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, you kind of a little bit froze, and you're kind of frozen right now. And it was weird because you were earlier. You were like all shaky and coming in and out of focus. It was all bizarre. So maybe there's something up with the connection.
Yeah, I can see myself frozen on there. Earlier, I don't know if you saw me or not, but I was like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, your name was flashing and weird and moving, and you were doing it, and it was going from the blank logo to you back and forth. Like, it was weird, bizarre. Anyway,
speaking of games, why are you 604 Atheist? What does that mean?
Well, 604 is the area code for Vancouver, the original very first area code for Vancouver. So that's why I took it. It was actually Vancouver and the Lower Mainland, but since then they've now, if you're not Vancouver Lower Mainland, you're outside of this area. It's now 250. It's the new area code for places outside of the Lower Mainland. And now they've got 778, and they got a whole bunch more because of cell phones and shit like that too, right? So they had to add more area codes. That's just it. So basically, it says I'm Neil, the Vancouver Atheist, just in the form of 604, right? And I knew it would eventually cause people to ask that question too. So just another something to talk about, right? Like, why 604? Are you the 604th atheist in your neighborhood? And like, no, that's not quite it. But.
Well, I figured it probably had to do something with the area code or something.
That's exactly it.
I was thinking that was a likely possibility.
So you lived in Seattle, David?
I lived in Seattle. I lived in Portland, Oregon.
How long ago?
How long ago? What, did I live in Seattle?
Yeah.
I lived in Seattle probably a year ago.
Oh, wow. So wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm originally from Southern California, but I lived in Seattle for about 5 years, 4 years. I think 5 years.
Cool. And where are you now? You're still West Coast, aren't you?
No, I'm in Chicago.
Are you in Chicago now? Oh. Actually,
just outside of Chicago, like 30 miles, but yeah.
Okay. So it's actually like 11 something there now.
It's 11. I'm tired.
Yeah, 11:05.
Yeah, 11:05.
Yeah,
Well,
it's 11:06 now, actually, my thing says.
Yeah, man, if you're tired, you don't have to stick around, dude.
Right on.
I very much appreciate you coming on and chat with us today, man, for sure. And with me earlier, for sure.
Yeah, I know that when people first hear my thing, I think I made it up. It's like, no, it's an actual thing. It's a kind of like a philosophy or an argument from atheism and stuff, or it's something like I said that people do, but they don't realize. And there's people that accept or try to take on the axiological theism, but no one had tried to take on an axiological atheism as what they are. But I did, because it already was something I liked in general, is axiology without the atheism. Just axiology analyzing the world in general, I see as a good thing.
Sure, and it can be put to anything,
true or untrue. I mean, we still need an accurate way to try to like assess things and figure things out. And so, whether it was atheist or not, I would like axiology. Just like that one I told you that was a theist Christian that wrote that book about axiology, and he said that he realized morality is too important to leave in the hands of religion or into philosophy. It needs to have more science base to it. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. We should have the desire for truth, even if it doesn't fit what we personally have a persuasion about. So.
Yeah, I mean, you're either, like I was saying earlier, you're either convinced of something or you're not, right?
Well, and it's not even that. That's part of it, that you're convinced. The reason is, did you have a legitimate reason to be convinced?
Sure.
Of course. In a sense, supported. So, yes, I do agree, being convinced is a good thing, but is it justified? I mean, there's Christians, like I said, about certainty, two types. One is psychological certainty, how certain I am of something. Just like I have speculations, right, about, I think that the way in a sense, evolution of religion sort of happened. And I talk about it, I have videos about it. Those are my speculations. I mean, they're built off of evidence that I then drew these speculations from. They're not like wild. Like when people go, well, I think that God was invented because of lightning, the fear of lightning. And I'm like, well, first off, lightning deities are not the first ones. So I don't think it could be that first off. Then animism to me is like the first religion or the base core thing.
I believe so.
Animists are generally kind of like hippies, sort of, and nature lovers. So they're very in tune with nature. They're not afraid of nature. They're part of nature. Like to them, it's a little bit different than like sacred and profane as we see the world as like, the religious people. They're like everything's sacred. So there's the rocks, trees, and everything is in a sense all this has. Those kind of people that have that core of where religion starts, they don't have a fear of like lightning. It's different kinds of fears. They do, of course, like all humans, fear death, but it's not specifically lightning and nature itself.
I fear death.
I feel like those nature
painful death,
but part of agriculture religion, because when you start having grains and you're growing things, you're sedentary and live in one environment. You all of a sudden, you like hope, even if there was no God, you would hope, I hope my crop makes it, because everything's dependent on it, So, I mean, you would almost be praying or wishing at least heavily, even if you had no religion or faith, in a sense. You're because if it doesn't make it, what do you do? Besides now you have to leave, but they spend all this time building these houses. You don't want to leave. Everyone who's built a house knows that you really want to kind of stay there. And so it's just this general thing to me. Religion in general, though, is that if you look at some of the things, we move different places, we get different environments, different religions. I mean, you get different religions and sometimes like ideas almost in different regions. Like when like this one guy is talking about how you get these certain type of religions in like desert areas or whatever, different than you would get, say, in tropical areas. Just the what's available. Just like it reminds me, there's different kinds of like shamanism, even in like the Northwest, native peoples or whatever of the Americas are different than, say, like the East Coast. And they could both be practicing totemism, both be practicing shamanism and animism, but yet not the same. I mean, because when, like, say, the coastal Californians, they would be living off of resources for the fish. They're not going to believe in a sense something that has to do with snow or, it's a totally different, like an Eskimo.
Yeah, they're going to be different from like the Haida.
They're practicing supposedly, this similar type of faith, sort of. And that's how, to me, religion is in general. All these beliefs, it's just what's sort of like prevalent in the area. It's not really about whether it's shamanism or Christianity or Islam. It's sort of like where you're raised, what you do. But just think, you feel like a Canadian, but if somebody were to live 5 miles on the American side, would they feel different than you? In the sense that little bit of space, there's all these world of ideas and this feeling we have that's not always justified. But it's just like this mythology, like I was at borders, right? So I went down forward to Mexico as an atheist to help, children down there in orphanages because they don't have the exact system to like help children. So anyways, and one of my friends was like, "Why are you going to Mexico?" And I said, "Yeah, why would I care about human beings that were like where I was at was maybe like 60 miles to where, but I'm not supposed to care about them, but I'm supposed to care about, not saying I wouldn't, but about New Yorkers, say like in 9/11, which is like almost 3,000 miles away. I'm supposed to care about these people that I don't know, but these people right here that are actually physically closer, because of the border, I'm supposed to not care about them." Things like that to me, it just don't make any sense. And it's the same thing to me with beliefs. They have this humongous, propaganda campaign for beliefs. And it's to me like a patriotism, there's this, I am better, we're better. It's kind of an ethnocentrism, even if it's not a full tribalism. It's just that my kind. You see this like in religion, like look at all the different kinds of Christian. I mean, let's just assume every other religion in the world was fake. Christians still wouldn't agree. We still have problems because there's not one kind of Christian or one kind of Christian belief.
There's many denominations.
There's many, and even in a denomination, you could say I'm a evangelical Pentecostal, non-denominational, and they would say, well, yeah, but do you believe in pre-tribulation or pre-tribulation? Do you believe in this or that or that? There's like this whole world of like all these little mining. It's like someone said a joke before. I'm a Baptist. Well, I'm a Southern Baptist. Well, I'm a Southern Baptist Great Lakes region or whatever, and I'm a Southern Baptist Great Lakes region council of 17 whatever. It's like people just have these in religion. It's like these little tiny tribal. I remember one of my family one time were telling me that, man, those what do you call it? It was, I'm trying to remember now which faith he was saying. Calvinist. I didn't even know what a Calvinist was. My uncle, man, he was going off on Calvinists. Whoever the hell these Calvinists were, man, he did not like them. But now I just think like, what a joke. It's like there's one little or few little tiny things, and then it's like all this craziness. But the belief, is not built on what's accurate. It's why there is so many variations. And if people look at they find what in the Bible appeals to them, or the Quran what appeals to them, or if they're whatever faith, it's more what appeals to you really, because they'll say my God would be loving. Well, if there was a God, the God would be whatever it would be, and has a fuck all to do with what you thought.
True enough.
But yeah.
Well, yeah, man, that's for sure. And thanks, by the way, for joining me today, dude. It was great to get to hang out with you earlier, and here as well. I was getting a little worried there because things were kind of going squirrely a bit. So I'm glad that you guys were able to amicably bring this around to something that.
Oh yeah, I wasn't trying to be anything but amicable. I just, when people make claims, I'm just challenging the claims that are being made and assessing the worth of what's being claimed.
Sure. And Nathaniel's good enough to back up his claims. I mean, I know that. I've known him for quite some time now, so I'm sure. Yeah, no, go ahead.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've been wrong before.
Me too. Many.
Well, I've been wrong all the time. So. But
yes, in fact, actually, I am editing some of because we had our internet hiccup on Wednesday during our video, and I am going through now and I'm editing. By the way, the reason that the thing was messing up, turns out you probably shouldn't run multiple Adobe platforms in the background while trying to do it.
You probably not. Chews up a lot of CPU. So
yeah. for the kind of what I was speaking about here, and we're also working on a different video too. But it's kind of like what we're talking about here, and I'm going to re-upload that tomorrow, maybe. I don't know. Soon, hopefully, it should be tomorrow. Yeah. So yeah, I research every day. I know I read the Bible more than anybody else that I know. So it's my favorite book.
Well, I'll go ahead and send you, Neil, the blog I have about archaeology debunks the Bible.
Sure. I think I have it linked actually in the original interview description. Your blog, anyways. So.
Oh well, yeah, but I'm talking about that specific blog.
Sure. Yeah, send that to me for sure.
I will. All right. Well, I'm gonna take off. It was nice getting a chance to chat.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And probably anytime you want to, if you're not busy and you want to jump into one of these after parties, just let me know, and you're welcome in, man. Anytime.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Damien.
That was a good time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think he was trying to make you angry, but yeah, you guys were sort of walking on each other a little bit there, and I was like, okay, I got to do something here.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a I sometimes don't respond at work. No.
That's okay.
I was trying to do something and it didn't work. Stupid thing. I wonder if this will work. I was thinking, how long is the dog? Corgi. I don't know if you can see me doing that or not. But I it's something that I'm working on too. I don't. There he is. Yeah, it's Mount St. Helens.
I still have ash. I got a little container of ash from Mount St. Helens, actually.
Yeah, 40 years, man. Coming up on 20.
It's turned to ash, by the way. I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah.
Weird.
Don't breathe it. It's
oh no, it's bad.
It's glass. Bad. Yeah, so don't do that. No, I just for whatever reason, whenever I get like interrupted a couple of times, I tend to have a more visceral response than I should.
I noticed that.
The moment that I think I decided to throw my hands up, I'm like, all right, whatever, and that's fine. I put some stuff in the chat, Joseph's Antiquities, book 20, part 9, and then Atheist Animals 15.44. So it's been a little while ago, but and I could I could put Pliny in there and stuff too, but.
Doc says you should run for president. If you can handle Adobe, you could be president.
Adobe is, oh man, like it's awesome though. I am a huge fan of it and what it can actually accomplish with me. There it is. There you go. So that's St. Helens, and Stanley is like right down here in this photo. So,
yeah, there you go.
Yep, there's St. Helens right there.
I was looking for something else to pop. You were going to show us a picture, and I was going to have to.
It is a photo right there. But yeah.
No, I know that, but it's your background. I didn't really notice it changed to that. But.
Oh yeah, but the Adobe is again awesome because I can run Adobe. Like the editing audio stuff by itself, and mixing different sounds, and then even with audio that's like already there and everything too, things that I had no idea you could do, and and I find I'm fairly tech savvy. Apparently not, and
I know I like to think so too until I'm not.
Yeah, and coming through and but. We got that the whole Creative Cloud suite and everything, and so we have everything that's graphics, 3D rendering, all that stuff, and that's I'm certain I'm never going to use. But it's cool things that because obviously we have we have all the audio back now for the video that we're making. So again, thank you for that.
Oh yeah, I can't tell you how many times I fucking did it.
No, it sounds great. That was actually the exact thing that we wanted. That type. That
wow.
Speed. the speed
Cool.
and everything about that with the rate
Like
of
the
speed.
cadence and everything. All right.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
I tried to sound official.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And of course, I can imagine reading that and what you were reading.
Oh my God. Like 100 times I went over it, dude. It took 4 days. I'm like, because I would do it for about a half an hour time. And at the end of the day, first time I'm like, no, fuck it. I'll try it again tomorrow. And then I just, finally I was like, okay, that sounds good enough. I'll send him that.
Yeah. So for you having that, you have the like the small thing. I think I sent you the video too. It's only 6 minutes long, right?
Mm.
And our response video all together with that is so much longer because and you're the thing that if you can figure that you spoke about a minute, right?
Yeah, more or less, yeah.
That means that there's only 5 minutes for like the rest of the video, and yet there's so much bull that it's like the only way that I can see to respond to that is to respond to it by like digging into literally everything and providing every single source that I can possibly find. And like, oh yeah, how are you going to come back with that? What are you going to come back with at this point? Because you're quoting, 130-year-old books.
Yeah.
For your scholars, for your scholarship attestation. So it's been interesting trying to build that. But now now we have like this Adobe suite. And I'm just like, oh, okay, well, we'll just do all of this at one time. It's so cool, except for it takes forever to render it. So. Well, Neil, it's 9:30, man.
Yeah.
And I am
we're in the same time zone now.
Yes, we are. Yeah, that was so cool to be able to do that. I'm guessing that the Bible Belt Atheist is in our time zone.
No, it's 11. Yeah.
But Susan and I haven't hung out a bunch today, and she's I think she's probably asleep actually. So I'm gonna probably go hang out with her.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. I'm going to bring us to a close anyways. So
I mean, I like it. Hey, I know that logo. That's the I have a shirt. That one on the front. I have a shirt that I made with the it's Atheist Ally. That has pretty close to that symbol on it.
The pyramid thingy that he's got on there?
Yeah, that's the pride symbol, and the back of it is the ally symbol.
Right.
And so it's Atheist Ally, and I have a shirt that has that right there.
Cool. There you go.
Yeah, there the LGBTQ ally.
Yep. Then I have the atheist symbol in there, and yep. That way it's like boom. I'm trying to kind of put like all of it together into one logo is a lot of fun. So.
I just have my shitty logo, and that's good enough. Although on Facebook, I turned it into a spinning coin for my photo.
Saw that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty
neat. I saw it on Twitter. But yeah. And I don't remember who made that. Because I remember you said that I don't know if somebody helped make it or not. But yeah, it was pretty cool. It's shiny on one side too.
Yeah. Peter from You Gotta Go For It YouTube channel did that for me.
There it is, yeah.
It's because I sent him a shirt that says this. Because he loved it so much. I bought one and sent it to him for his birthday. Kind of thing.
So. Sure. Yep.
Hey, Neil, notice anything?
What's that?
Notice anything?
Shit. Yeah, that's the band name. My band name. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
There you go, Neil.
Wow. Cool.
You're on a fast car. I don't really know what to call that car.
The Mark IV Toyota Supra.
Hey, it's a Toyota Supra, and it is Planned Parenthood pink.
It's okay. Pink's fine.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Right. Susan worked at Planned Parenthood. I met her. So, yep. All right, I'm gonna go and hang out with her. I'm gonna go.
I'll say hello and tell her I'm looking forward to Monday, for sure.
Yes, absolutely. She's very excited to talk to you finally. So,
She's talked to me before. You mean to tell her story and stuff?
Yeah,
like that.
to get on. Yeah, because I mean, I was on so long ago.
I know.
Yeah, but she now has all the updated stuff that I didn't have whenever I was on. So, like all the technology we have now and stuff.
Oh, geez. Now she's gonna show you up, dude. She's totally gonna show you up.
She does anything in everything. And she doesn't. She never ever believes that. And it's so true. She is. That's why I said if. And then I said this, and yes, I have to go. If I am able to have the opportunity to be around Susan when she finally recognizes her real potential and really makes a difference in a ton of people's lives, which she already does, but even more than that, then I will know that I have done my job by supporting her. And then if she is the last person that I ever see, then I will be peaceful, knowing that I lived a good life. So.
Yep, for sure. And I wish that for you, man.
Nice.
Definitely.
Thanks.
All right. Well, thanks for jumping in with us, Nathaniel. And of course, Zach, even though really all you ever do is play video games here and pipe up once in a blue, thanks for jumping in. It's always fun. And I think it's hilarious that you're driving on Lego. That's great.
Yeah, this is one of the DLCs for the game.
Cool. And thanks for everyone in the chat for sticking through this.
Yeah.
Coming up Monday, as you heard Nathaniel and I talking, I will be chatting with Susan Turpin. So, who's also known as, what is it, the Cowboy something or other?
Motel Cowboy.
Motel Cowboy, yeah.
Yeah, it's from Reckless Kelly, the band that they're out of Idaho. Yeah, they're really great. If you don't know either, you've never heard any of their stuff. It's really good. It's country.
So?
Yeah.
If it's good, it's good.
Yeah, if you're not a fan of country, it's also I liked it. So there you go. And I'm not necessarily a fan of country. So
I'm a fan of music. It doesn't matter what genre. If it's good and I like it, I'll like it. Right? So.
And it was very, very good. So I recommend them.
But I'm a musician, and we tend to lean that way. So.
That's the case. Yeah. Game recognized game, right? All right.
Yeah. All right, guys. Anytime, brother. You know that. And as soon as they lift that border ban thing where they open up the borders, I'll be fucking driving down there. We'll have a shit ton of fun. Stay over there for a weekend or something.
Hell yeah.
All right, guys. Like I always say at the end of these things, remember to be safe, be well, and be kind. And like the late great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. We'll see you guys next time.